Hello and welcome to my class. In this video, I am going to talk about structure, modifications and functions of insect legs. Almost all nymphal and adult insects have three pairs of legs. These legs are thoracic, that is, they originate from the thorax, and they're segmented, which means they're made of multiple segments. Insect's thorax is made of three segments, the prothorax, mesothorax and metathorax. And from each of these segments, one pair of legs come out. The first pair is called the forelegs, the middle pair is called the midlegs, and the last pair is called the hindlegs. In this cartoon, you can see only one leg per segment, but if you see from the other side, then you would see three more legs. In this picture of the mosquito, all three pairs of legs are very clearly visible. Insects have possessed this design since their origin, as evidenced from fossil records. Insects have two types of locomotory organs, wings for flying and legs for walking. Typically, the legs are used for walking as well as for landing from a flight or to take off. However, various other functions and associated modifications are found in different insects. But first, let's talk about the structure of insect legs. We all have seen a running cockroach, but have you ever looked at its legs carefully? I suggest next time you kill a cockroach, you pick it up and look at its legs. You will see that the legs may vary in length, that is, the prolegs would be shortest in length and the hind legs would be the longest in length, but they would all have the same basic structure. Each of these legs are made of 6 segments or pedites. The first segment or podite is called the coxa. Coxa helps the leg attach to the thorax. This elbow-like neck segment is called the trochanter. The third segment is femur, fourth tibia, and the fifth segment is tarsus, and the sixth segment is pretarsus. The tarsus and pretarsus are the two segments which rest on the surface when the insect is walking, running, or sitting. So let's look at this part more carefully. The most distal segment is the pretarsus. The pretarsus has a median lobe called the arulium, which has in its ventral surface aruliar pads and a pair of very sharp claws. These claws and the aruliar pad help in adhesion to the ground, but that's not enough. The tarsus also helps in adhesion to the ground. The tarsus is further divided into tarsomeres. A single muscle called the tarsal muscle runs along the tarsomeres, and that's why they are together called the tarsus. Now, the underside of the tarsomeres may have ventral pads known as palvelli or euplantuli. These pads help in adhesion to surface. The surface of each pad can either be setose or hairy like in flies, or it can be smooth like in beetles. If we look at an electron micrograph of the tarsomeres, then we can see pairs of euplantuli under each tarsomere. We can also see the arulia and the claws here. Some scientists have shown that functionally different pads can be present in the same foot in some insects for friction and for adhesion. Now I want you to look at this video. Here I am showing the tribolium castaneum, the flower beetle walking on flower. Here, although it has wings, it is not flying, it is using legs as the main locomotory organ, and it uses these legs for walking through the flower. Here is a video of an aquatic beetle. This aquatic beetle has the two hind legs extended in the lateral sides almost at 90 degrees to the body. These legs help this beetle in swimming. Here you can see a very interesting bubble, and I'm going to talk about this bubble in my video on respiration. Now, the legs in insects can have many different forms. Some legs are used for walking or running. Some legs are used for jumping, some for swimming, some for digging, some for capturing prey, some for clinging to the surface, some for foraging, some for making sound. But all these types of legs, all these functionally different types of legs have the same basic structure. All legs are made of the 6 pedites, that is coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, tarsus and pretarsus. Now, based on what kind of functional activity those legs have, one or more parts can be modified, can be more developed, but you would find all these 6 parts in all legs. Now, let's talk about different types of insect legs and their functions. The first type I'm going to talk about is the cursorial legs. Cursorial means adaptation to running or walking very fast. Cursorial legs are seen in insects like cockroaches. Cockroaches have wings, they can fly, but their main mode of locomotion is walking very fast. So their legs are suited for walking. In these legs, you would find that the femur and tibia are well developed and very muscular, and these kind of tibia and femur help them in walking very fast. Saltatorial legs. Saltatorial means adaptation to jumping. Crickets, grasshoppers, katydids, these kind of orthopteran insects use jumping as the main mode of locomotion. So to jump, they need to take off very fast, right? So for that, their hind legs are very muscular and elongated, and they can base their body's weight on these legs and take off very easily. The next type of legs I'm going to talk about is natatorial legs. Natatorial means adaptation to swimming. I showed you the video in a previous slide. So these legs are often flattened or broad and fringed with dense hair, which increase the surface area and also helps in cut the drag, and they facilitate movement in water. For example, aquatic beetles, diving beetles, they all have natatorial legs. Next type is the fossorial legs. Fossorial means adaptation to digging. There are many insects who live underground. They are known as subterranean insects. Now, if you are living underground, then you need some apparatus to dig the soil. Mole crickets have specific types of forelegs which help them in digging. You can see here that their coxa, femur, tibia all are broadened and they are very muscular. And at the end of the tarsus, they have very sharp claws. Now, these muscular forelegs, along with these sharp claws, help them in digging soil and making the burrow to go under surface. Next type I'm going to talk about is the raptorial legs. These type of legs are found in all Mantoidea family or superfamily, which includes the praying mantids. Please notice their forelegs. These forelegs are modified for capturing and holding prey. They have very powerful muscles, and here the femur is greatly enlarged and grooved ventrally, and the tibia is curved and blade-like. So together this femur and tibia help in grasping the prey as well as holding the prey while the mouth parts are at their work. Next type I'm going to talk about is Scansorial legs. Scansorial means adaptation to climbing. For climbing, any animal would need to cling onto the surface because it's defying gravity when climbing. So these kind of clinging legs are found in external parasites like lice. Now, all lice have these clinging type of legs or scansorial legs. You can see that a padded projection is present at the distal end of the tibia, and the pretarsus is modified into a claw-shaped structure. So together they work like a peg and they can hold onto the surface. All legs have these kind of structures, but in the foreleg you can see these modifications in great detail. Next type I'm going to talk about is foragial legs. Honeybees and all other types of bees are very well known for their foraging habits. Honeybees, for example, need to collect nectar and pollen from flowers, and they have to carry that home. Now, nectar is liquid. It can be sucked up by the mouthparts and can be stored in the crop. But pollen cannot be eaten up like that. So what they do is they store the pollen into their hind legs. So their hind legs are modified in such a way that it can carry a big load of pollen. So the hind tibia is modified into a pollen basket. Okay, so it's very hairy in structure, and here the honeybee can show off pollen. And these legs also have combs that help in collecting or removing pollen from the body. Now, next type is stridulatory legs. Stridulation means making sound. Stridulatory legs make a creaking or grating sound by rubbing two rough surfaces against each other. These femurs in this cricket, you can see, they have a row of small pegs on the inner surface, and these pegs are rubbed against each other, and that makes the grating or creaking sound. Usually, male crickets make the sound, which is also known as the cricket song, to attract mate. The females perceive that sound and they are attracted to the sound making males. Now, if the male is making the sound, the female has to perceive that sound. And how do they do that? For that, they have the auditory legs. Auditory legs are present in sound-producing insects like crickets. The tibia of the foreleg has a tympanal organ that vibrates by sound waves and helps the insect perceive the sound. Now I'm going to talk about a very different type of leg. These are the prolegs found in Lepidopteran larvae or caterpillars. Lepidopteran caterpillars have three pairs of thoracic legs as seen here, and these legs are segmented and they are known as the true legs. But if you have seen a crawling caterpillar, you must have seen that they not only have these three pairs of thoracic legs, but they seem to have legs in their abdomen too. So these abdominal segments have small fleshy non-jointed substructures present on their ventral surface, and these help in crawling. But because they do not originate from thorax and because they are not segmented, we do not give them the status of true legs. These legs are called the pseudolegs or the prolegs. All the information in this video are collected from these books, and Ms. Gurjit Kaur helped with the line drawings. Hope you liked this video. Come back for insect antenna in the next video.